record. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it will record on here for me. Hey,
It says
everybody.
this says this meeting's being live streamed. Okay, but it's automatically recorded. Okay.
Yes.
You got my money yesterday, right, baby? Lovey?
Yeah.
Alex, did you?
Yes,
Okay, good.
indeed. Okay. Let's put this on speaker. All right. Welcome, everybody. Hello. It's another amazing Sunday morning. Sunday morning miracles, financial and spiritual freedom. Today's topic is everybody is searching for God, but most people just don't know it. And what I mean by that is we are all searching for something holy, whether it's in a relationship, in your business deals, in an investment. There is something holy that stands behind the vehicle of what that is. So the Course says there are two ways that we look at our relationships and our investments, people in our lives, the situations and the events that happen for us. And that is one, we look at it in a holy way, or two, we look at it in a special way. There is one teacher for each one of those perceptions, the way of looking at things. The holy way is to allow the Holy Spirit to perceive it and to judge it for us. And the special way is to allow the ego to do it. Now, we study A Course in Miracles. This is the book right here. And we don't necessarily talk 100% about the Course, but we use things and events and people and situations in our life to exemplify the teachings of the Course. And one of the greatest, the number one teaching of the Holy Spirit in the Course is that to have something, if you want to keep something, you must give it away. So one of the abundance thinking that is really the only thing ever lacking in your life is something that you didn't give away. And I want you guys to think about that. The only thing that could ever be lacking in your life is something that you didn't give away. In Eastern philosophy, we talk about letting go of attachments. And the Course talks about letting go of attachments. But what attachment are we actually letting go of? We're actually letting go of an identity of ourselves. Okay, there is a whole, all of us combining together, making a whole. But we play a game. We're basically playing a game that we can somehow be separate. And so we experience the world separately. All of our problems, every one of your problems, whatever problem you can think of right now, stems from somehow you and I are separate. That you have a desire that is different from my desire. That you have a different thinking than my thinking. So one of the first laws of chaos that the Course calls, one of the first chaos that the Course calls is that you and I have different truths. Now, in this world, the way we experience the world, we all have different truths. And because we have different truths, because our truths are separate, we constantly go to war with each other, or we are on the defense. And that defense really relates over to our defense against God's retaliation on us. Now, I'm going to speak a little bit further on that. Every time that you lose your peace, you're actually afraid and you don't trust that God's got your back. That somehow God is mistaken in who he put in your life, or who or the situation that is presented in front of you. Why? Why do I have to go through it? Right? Why does this person have to be taken away from me? Why do I have to lose money? Whatever the situation is. But what is actually happening in those times is you're saying, I know what I prefer. I know what I prefer. I know what's going to make me happy. And if that was the case, then we should never, ever lose our peace. And because we lose our peace, maybe we got to look back at, maybe I don't know what I want. Maybe what I think I want is not really what I want at all. And so we get to look back at the attachments that we place on all things, the relationships that we have with all things. Every time the Course says we make something special, that means let's look at a relationship, an intimate relationship. Every time we make it special, we're saying, if you do this, I will be happy. That's called special love. If you just do this, I'm going to be happy. And then on the flip side of the coin, special hate. If you do this, I'm going to cry. If you do this, it's going to break my heart. If you do this, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be angry. Right? We place all these special conditions onto everything. And the Course says that is the ego. So what we talked about so far this morning is there is only two options ever. Every moment of your life, there is only two options. Either you're in love or you're in fear. Either you're in abundance or you're in scarcity. Either you're listening to the Holy Spirit or you're listening to the ego. There is no time that they can both be happening at once. The vision of one costs you the vision of the other. So whenever you lose your peace, whenever you're upset, whenever you're angry, whenever you feel insecure, whenever you feel like you're not enough or things are not fair, it is going down which teacher? Which teacher are you listening to? Which mindset are you thinking with? It's this fear. It's this fear of abandonment from source, from our creator. Who is my father? Who is my creator? The only thing that we should be, Marianne Williamson said this in one of her lectures that I listened to today, is that the only thing worth contemplating is who am I and who is my father? The only reflection that we should ever have is to look at who I am and who's the father, who's the source, who's the creator. So if you don't want to say God, that is fine. You can call it whatever you want. But just know that every single one of us in every situation is looking for the holiness in that situation. And when I say holiness, I mean you're looking for peace of mind. You're looking for that moment where everything makes sense, where you're like, man, God's got my back. But we can also realize that with every single event. But because we place our own meaning and we interpret things our own way, we can't see the loss of somebody or the death of a family member or the losing of some money as a service to me. Okay, everything in this world, this Course says there's two worlds. There's a dream world, which is one that we live in, full of our own interpretations, ideas, identities, beliefs that we believe is the truth, and we live out of that truth. How many times have each of us made an excuse for not having something that we want because of an outside circumstance? I couldn't help that. This happened to me in my past. This happened to me. This happened to my friend. This happened to my family. We can't help that. And that's how the ego catches it. The ego catches us by saying that you have no power. Your power it's taking it away from you. There's an outside force. And then so what the ego does is the ego goes, let me fix all these things in the outside. Okay, which is maybe if I can just get my daughter into therapy, if I can only make more money here, then I will feel better. If this deal only worked out the way that I wanted to, if my wife only did what I told her to do, fix these symptoms, right? We think that's the problem. That's not where the problem is. The problem lies in where the source of the error happened. Where the source of the error occurred is in my mind, in the way that I perceived something. That I perceived it as outside of myself. I perceived it as outside the kingdom, outside of God's realm and outside of God's creations. And because I see it as me and the rest of the world is dangerous. Because I see it as me and God being separate, God is dangerous. And so what we do is we make God of things that aren't. We make God of our relationships. This is another way of saying we make it special. We make God of money. We make God of the relationship you have with your daughter, with your sister, daughter, brother, mother, father, whatever. Those relationships, we make God of them. And what ends up happening is the humanity and the illusions of this dream world shows up, and we feel like we're a victim to it. And so there are two worlds that pop up. One is the one of your illusions and your perspectives. The other world is the world that is the kingdom. The Course says you've been in the kingdom. You've been resting in the kingdom. Nothing has ever actually happened. And how do we realize the kingdom in this dream world now? In order for us to even know, being able to manifest abundance and heaven in this world right now, first, we have to believe that A, it exists. Two, we have to believe that we are worthy of it. See, that second part, it's not that hard for us to believe somewhat that heaven exists, right? But if we don't believe we are worthy of it, that is the only thing that is waiting for me, our ego creates a hell. And the hell is the place that we live in right here, right now. Everybody is dangerous. The government's dangerous. Religion's dangerous. Everything is dangerous. We find danger in everything. We can't trust this person. We can't trust that person. The Course says that the ego is suspicious at best and vicious at worst. So think about how that vacillates. Whenever you are in suspicion of somebody, it must be the ego telling you, hey, remember this thing in your past? But the thing that happened in the past has nothing to do with right now. But we're like, hey, somebody screwed you over in the past. You better not trust this person now. So how the ego is always looking for evidence to be suspicious. And then because it's also always looking to be right about being what they're suspicious about, they attack. Okay, the ego attacks. The ego attacks and it becomes vicious. We attack people. We judge them harshly. And we think about what's going on in the world. The Course says the world does not need to change. The highest level of consciousness for us is to recognize that we need do nothing. Now that is something that the ego will not accept, because what do you mean we need do nothing? What happens if somebody is beating somebody beating their daughter in front of you? What if somebody is doing something terrible in front of you? Right now, first of all, we are still in the dream world. So recognize that we are in the dream world. That it doesn't actually matter what you choose to do. However, the only thing that matters is, will you have your peace by the end of it? So you can go and interfere, whatever is happening, and you can say, I feel good about myself because I interfered and somebody didn't get hurt because I interfered. Now, you also go and viciously attack this person now. It doesn't even have to be physical, but in your mind, you have viciously attacked somebody. And because of that, different forms of this viciousness will become real in your mind. The words that come out of your mouth will become poisoned with that thought. And then now you are designing a earth and a world that you live in that is vicious. So we have to be very conscious of the words that come out of our mouth. Is it from a story? Is it even real? Is it even real? It could be real to you, but is it something that you're projecting that may not be real for somebody? Like if you say, hey, don't trust Democrats, don't trust Republicans, don't trust real estate owners, whatever you're saying, don't trust. Is it the truth or is it your projection of something? Right? We want to start to recognize what it is that we're bringing out into the world. because that itself is collectively causing something else to happen. The very thought, the very judgment of somebody is the exact same thing, but in different forms of a war happening, of Russia attacking Ukraine, of China attacking Taiwan, whatever. Wars that happen is because we collectively believe that war is okay. And it might just, the ego's like, no, I don't believe that, because people are getting killed over there. But there is no levels of attack. Every attack is equally disturbing to your mind. Because it's only very little will need to shift or be triggered or be flipped. The switch would need to be flipped. Very little, if you're agitated, to turn that agitation into complete chaos. When you're agitated, the attack becomes very, very fast. You will attack people. You will flip out. You will even physically hurt somebody because you're agitated. And you may think, oh, but it was just an agitation. That's different from going to war. Now, on a larger level, when we're looking at countries and countries, the same agitation, the same lack of trust, the same belief that separation is real causes war to happen. So the way that we shift that is we have to love peace so much that war can't even show up. That collectively, and I start with my own mind, the world does not need to change. My perception of the world needs to change. This world will be whatever you want this world to be. You believe that it's a dangerous world, you will find all the things that is dangerous about it. You will find all the people that are out to get you. You believe it's a safe world, you will find all the people that are there to love you and care for you, and safety will always show up. We're always just collecting evidence. That's why it's not real. This is a blank canvas and we are painting the canvas. But the ultimate fear that we all have, okay, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I mean, not that I don't care about what anyone thinks, but what your opinion of it doesn't matter. Because every one of us, there is a part that is afraid of the retaliation of God. And if we are afraid of that, it manifests into different forms. Real estate deals not working out, friendships not working out, relationships not working out, people backstabbing me. You know, all of that is or somebody dying, somebody committing suicide in your close vicinity. Can we start to see that as this is service to me? There is no real death. The Course says beyond, when you get to a point of awakening, okay, the true rest that you're looking for is in awakening, but not in sleep. What the Course is saying is when you are beyond it, when you don't see that we are a body anymore. Because the biggest pain that we always feel is experienced through bodies. Bodies, okay, believing that I'm a body and you're a body is the number one weapon that the ego uses as in terms of you and I are separate. Look, you got a body, I got a body. We're different. You're a different age. I'm this, I'm from wherever, and you're from, you're from the States, I'm from Canada, I'm from Taiwan, wherever. Different bodies. But somehow we've all experienced this. We've all experienced an energetic connection to somebody. Okay, my wife and I have these things all the time where we just laugh at the same time or say the same word at the same time. There is and it's a safe space that we create for each other to kind of dance in that continues to show us that maybe we aren't really even separate. When you start to recognize that what people around me receives, okay, if they feel loved, if they're winning, then automatically I'm winning. There's no me winning, you losing. So there are a lot of things that we believe in the world that we have to, it's completely upside down. The vision of heaven is completely upside down to the way that we have it in this in here in this dream world. Okay, so if think about it for just the giving and receiving. All right, one requires heavy faith, and the other one is physical proof that giving and receiving happens at different times. Right? I'm a body, you're a body. This $5 in my hand is physical. I give you $5. I now have $5 less and you have 5 more. Now we give love that way as well. I give you 5 pieces of love. I now have 5 less. You got to give me 5 pieces of love to make the exchange real. See how there is a scarcity mindset in there? Because what's gonna happen there is the ego is super smart. The ego is very conniving, and the way that the ego does it is everything that I give, it becomes bigger. Everything that I receive, I expect it, and it becomes smaller. So there is no way that you could be in a relationship unless you train your mind on a moment-to-moment basis that gratitude is the only way for relationships to thrive. I have to always be in gratitude, because if I'm in gratitude, I can't be in scarcity. I don't have fear showing up because I'm in the thankful state. And how do we get there? I'll talk about that in a second. But when I give to you, one of the shortcuts is to know 100% that when I give to you, that the receiving has already happened. I don't know where, maybe I don't see it right now, or maybe it hasn't happened. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I have to believe, and then with strong faith, that as soon as I give, I've already received. See, now it's clean. The slate's clean. I'm no longer thinking about the giving I gave you. I'm not thinking about the $5 I gave you. It's kind of like I gave you the $5 and boom, $5 deposited right back into my account. I'm no longer thinking about it. But if I give you the $5 and I'm thinking, okay, when is this person going to give me my $5 back? That relationship is doomed. Because no matter what the person gives you, you will always perceive it as less than the $5 over time. And this is why relationships get doomed over time. Okay. So I'll take some pause for a moment. That's my intro, my 27-minute intro to this call this morning. So I'll take some thoughts, take some questions. What are you guys challenged with? Any aspect of your life? Yeah. Anybody have any?
I'll jump in. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, I feel like I always bring this up, and it's always a circular conversation, and so be it. But I keep hearing, and I'm trying to absorb. We need do nothing. We need do nothing. And when you said that again, what popped up in my mind is, like, for instance, everything that's going on in Iran, right? Since a young woman was killed, and fighting for their rights and their freedoms for women. And I just can't, I can't get my head around how we need do nothing, would apply to people that are actually in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely understand whatever comes up for me, that's information for me, and that's a gift that I get to look at. But I guess that I'm trying to step into their shoes and understand ACIM, God, trust, when in this physical dimensional world, this whole country, these groups of people are experiencing that. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. So think about in the past, how many problems you've perceived have happened in this world, right? How many problems there has been, right? It's always one after another. It's COVID, Then immediately after COVID, it's like, the war, Russia invading Ukraine. Then it's this, then it's that. It just continues to just one thing after another. Whether we did something or not about it, it just kind of goes past and it's gone. And so the way to think about it, I'm not saying don't do anything, okay? Do what you need to do to feel like you're at peace, but know that peace, the peace of mind that you're looking for, rests in doing nothing. Because when somebody is, so it's kind of like, if somebody, you perceive somebody to be doing something wrong and you call them out, okay, because they're like attacking somebody else, and you're like, or let's look at a bully. A bully is bullying somebody and they're attacking them, and you're like, you know what, I want to stop bullying from happening. It's just not right. We don't want bullying to happen. You know what, I'm going to call this person out, I'm going to attack this person, and I'm going to, punish this person. By punishing this person, what you're doing is creating a different form of the exact same attack. Because what the bully is doing is the bully is projecting his own pains, his own insecurities, his own whatever onto somebody else. Then you go and punish them and attack them, and you're coming from the same mentality. Just it looks a little bit different. This is what the Course calls actually white magic. White magic is when the ego says, I'm attacking for the sake of good. I'm attacking for the sake of good. See, when we say it out loud, it sounds like some madness too. But the ego is so smart that we constantly think that we're doing something right when we are actually attacking and judging. The other option is, let me see this world for what this world is. I am in a dream. Okay, this is a dream world. At some point, my body will be put down to rest. This tool will be put down to rest. Okay, other people, things are happening to them, their bodies may be put to rest differently at different times. But what is it serving? Okay, unless we believe, see, this is the other thing. We believe that evil must exist inside somebody. That's why we are not at peace. And when we say that, what we're saying is, God, I do not trust you in the way that you designed it. You must not be within this person. The Holy Spirit must not be speaking to this person. And so it ultimately comes back in full circle to the fact that I don't trust my creator. I don't know who my creator is. I don't know who the Father is. I don't trust his decisions. I know what's best. And what's best is for me to go and intervene. And I'm not even going to intervene. I'm just going to project my beliefs onto the people around me, okay, of the way that I see the world. And I'm not even going to actually do something about what's happening over in Iran. But I'm going to project it. Right? So, not bad or wrong, no judgment about any of it, but it comes down to your own sanity. Yeah. When will you be tired of fighting?
I raised my hand.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Are you saying, okay, I mean, I'm kind of confused here because I do believe in God and the devil. And you're just all of a sudden like throwing that one to the curb. I mean, because there is a devil, there's good and evil. I mean, so how are you just saying, I mean, because there's God, and because there are good people and there's toxic people that, because hurt people. You know what I mean? Okay, so the devil is true.
Maybe.
I mean,
the devil could be the ego. Like it could just be, so the devil is a symbol for something. Because then what you're saying is, yeah, I believe there's a God, but God must have also created the devil. If
God did.
Okay, so God did. So the devil must be also godly. God must be also flowing through the devil.
He was a fallen angel. That's true.
Okay. So then he's also doing God's work. So then who are we to question God's work?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so you don't believe in good and bad? I
It's
mean,
not that I don't believe in good and bad. It's just irrelevant what I believe. I don't need to tell you what's good and bad. You already know it inside. All I'm doing is seeing the God, the Christ in you. I'm going to see the Christ in the devil so that I can change my relationship to the devil. I'm not going to be afraid of the devil. I'm not going to attack the devil. I'm changing my relationship to the devil because I see Christ in the devil.
so you're going to meet the devil with love.
If there is anything else, see, the Course says the opposite of love is fear, but what is all encompassing can have no opposites, right? So the opposite of God is the devil, but what is all godly can have no opposites. See, there's a shifting in the mind, because if I believe the devil is alive, then I will actually see the devil in everybody. If I believe the devil is real and is not godly, then I will find the devil in people. So just remember, so if people here that are listening, devil, okay, the word devil is a symbol. So go beyond the devil, okay? You can call the devil millions of different names. You can call God millions of different names, but we're pointing to just try to look beyond it instead of judging devil, God conversation, heaven, hell, whatever. This is not a religious conversation, but this is just pointing to how do we shift our relationship to things. Anything that bad that we perceive happen, we're like, it must be the devil. And then another day we're like, oh man, that bad thing was actually the best thing that's happened to my life. So then who is it? I ran into this person is a devil. And then I realized, man, this person changed my whole life. Was it the devil? Who is the devil? It's just a projection. The devil and God is a projection from our minds. When we humanize those ideas, what we do is we humanize it and we project our own beliefs about devil and God, and then we go and play God ourselves. Every time you judge someone or a situation, you are now saying, God, you did a great job, man. Just move over now. I got it from here. That's the insanity. Move over. You're done. Your job is done. You just did all of this. But because I was born January 20th, 1986, I'm now going to play God.
You're too funny.
I mean, that's exactly what's happening. That's how insane the ego, or you can call the devil in your mind, really is. Until you shift your relationship to it, until you start to see everything, ayahuasca will bring us to ego death. Ayahuasca, yes, ayahuasca will bring you somewhere. Right. So.
Okay, so then what are addictions?
Addictions?
Yeah, I mean, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, addictions to me is just a perceived lack that we think we have, and we need something else to fulfill it. I'm addicted to getting fulfilled this way because I believe I lack something here. This is my escape. I need to escape it because this is hell. And so an addiction is believing that I have a lack. But if I see God in everything, and I start to see God in all circumstances and all people, all the situations in my life, all the deaths, all the friendships, everything, I see God in all of it, and the whole grand scheme of the plan, and I see myself fitting in there as part of the whole, there is nothing lacking. If I lack nothing, I won't really have any addictions. And also, I need to shift my relationship to addictions. Yeah, I could be addicted to this for now, but what's the teaching in there for me? See, it's not about doing more of what I think is good for me and less of what I think is bad. It's to relinquish the judgment of it all. In order to heal addiction, I have to actually neutralize in my mind addictions. The more that I believe addictions is good or bad, the more real it becomes for me, and the more I'm addicted. When I neutralize it, this is how we shift all of our relationships, and we neutralize everything by adding gratitude to it. How do we add gratitude to it? To perceive that everything happening to us is a teaching and a teacher. Thank you. Devil person, devil situation, devil everything. Thank you so much for it. I don't know how it's going. I don't know how it's going to heal me or teach me, but I know that I'm triggered right now. I know that I'm upset right now. I know that I'm unhappy. I'm anxious, whatever, all those things. But because that's showing up, it must be teaching me something. Because if peace is what I want, if abundance is what I want, then if something shows me where I don't have it, then it must be a teacher. I may not recognize the lesson in this moment. I may not know the outcome in this moment. And this is where faith, trust comes in. You get to a point where with absolute certainty, I know that it's filling me right now. I know it's healing me right now. I know it's teaching me right now. See, you can hope for it to happen, right? This is one of the distinctions that I make, but don't weaponize this distinction either. Is I hope something to happen. It's powerful. Hope is powerful. But hope is like, I don't know. I hope that it happens. I don't know for sure that it's going to happen. And then you stand in
faith.
true belief, in true faith, which is with absolute certainty, I know it's going to happen.
Right.
It's not up to me when it happens or in the way in which it happens, but I know with absolute certainty that this will pay off. It may show up right now as losing $100,000, but you know what? I know with absolute certainty that this lesson and this teaching will pay off. Now, peace comes back into my life, and peace is what I want. If I can operate with peace, I will bring more peace into my life. My deals will look more peaceful. The people around me in my life will become more peaceful because you are a light. The Course says that it's not that we can choose to teach sometimes and don't teach other times. There is no choice in that. You are always teaching. What you believe to be real in your mind, you will be teaching all those people around you. So then the important thing is not what you're teaching, but where you're teaching from.
So I guess be impeccable with your words.
You will always be impeccable with your word because it will always align to what you believe is real. Be impeccable with which teacher you're listening to. Start to recognize, is it the ego or is it the Holy
Okay. I was going to say God or devil.
Is it the devil or is it God? Right? Same thing. Okay. Recognize that if I am speaking from fear, if I'm speaking from lack of trust, if I'm speaking from anxiety, anger, I must be coming from the devil, right? Or
Right.
if, I start to see it, I accept, I show gratitude, I talk about it with love, I talk about it with acceptance and surrender and trust. Okay, it must be from God. And if I come from that place, I realize I'm vigilant about which teacher I'm learning from. And it's up to you. That's why it's all things is a teaching, because it's showing you which teacher you are making more real. And that's why if you don't even speak ever, there is a lot happening. I need do nothing because I can sit here and have an internal world happen inside. Because the only place that the world is happening is inside. Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
Yeah, my take on this, after being in this work now for over like 3 years and hearing the word over and over again, is that peace, because I used to be worried about everything going on everywhere outside of me. And when I finally started finding the peace inside of me and was able to maintain it, that's what I believe is what's going to bring peace to the world. Because like you said, hurt people. So once I find the peace inside of me, then that peace I bring to my family, my friends, my community. And that's the way that we create peace, because when we're at peace inside, create war. We don't, and yes, I see the contrast. I see evil or the devil, and when I see it, that's when I really pour out the love, because that's the vibration that I want to put out there, and the energy that I want to send out there, because that's what we're going to get back. So once we, and I used to lose my peace a lot. Not that I don't lose it now. And what this work has done, I always say it, is that it's just narrowed the gap between, before I used to lose my peace and I would be in it for days, months, whatever, weeks. Now it shortens the gap. And now as soon as I recognize it and I see it, and I have a way of being able to back off and catch it ahead of time before it gathers up steam. And then I find the peace. I find my peace inside of me. And I go back to all of this. I'll put on a video, or I find something to bring me back and ground me back and remind me that it's okay. What goes on out there has nothing to do with what goes on in here.
Yeah.
And I get my peace back.
Awesome. Yeah. So, one of the things about peace and about, what you're creating, the world around you, is, look, when you said, hey, the devil is real, it's the truth. It's true that the devil is real. I can go into, no, it's not. I go and battle against you. No, your thinking is wrong. My thinking is right. All that does is make both sides solidify and get in the trenches. You actually dig deeper about what's real for you. Now, same thing. If I believe there's a cause that I need to battle, right? If there's something that's happening that I believe is wrong, and I go and battle it, all that does is actually solidify the resistance of it, actually makes it stronger. And if you just let it go through, yeah, it's valid. I don't know if the devil is the truth or not. I'm not battling you about it. I'm not fighting with you about it. And then now, all of a sudden, there's a space. It's a safe space. Like, yeah, your truth could be the truth. I don't know. And now it's a safe space. I'm actually not participating in your story, but I'm giving you a safe space to now explore. Explore your options. Explore what actually makes sense and what's real for you. And when we can look at it that way, when we can hold that type of space for somebody, because it's all in the mind. The space is in the mind. I was listening to Marianne Williamson talk about one of her past relationships, about intimacy, about, well, we're having physical intimacy, we're having sex or whatever. I should be closer to this person, right? I'm looking to be closer. They both go to therapy, right? They both are going through a therapy session. The therapist is a safe space for her partner to mentally talk about what's going on. Safe space happening. By the end of it, do you think, which relationship do you think became holier and which one became more toxic? She was like, well, he's still with the therapist right now, but we no longer are together. Because I had a belief that if physically had a closer relationship with somebody, then we will get closer. What we really want is not that type of intimacy. What we really want is the mind safety intimacy. And then that now becomes what is projected before I speak, before I act. Like, what space am I holding for my partner? Do I have a rebuttal to what he says? Do I have am I judging what he does? Am I not okay with this and that? Is the focus, see, what I talked about last week is the focus in the relationship. If you make it holy, then you're focused on your spiritual growth together. You're kind of two people coming together, looking at God and see what the path is to build deeper faith together. Now, if you're in a relationship and you're like, oh, what are we going to be doing on our anniversary? Oh, today is Saturday. You've been working all week. Are you going to be here? Now, what does that end up doing to the relationship? We all know, but then we all do it constantly. So it's about coming to that place where we create a space of neutrality that we can both dance in it safely. Your projections, cool. Throw it in there. There's no judgments. Ooh, it's safe. It's safe for me to project. Cool. Now, when I project, is it safe? If it's safe, now we can throw it out there and look at it together. And then realize that, I don't know, maybe I don't need to have this story anymore. Maybe I don't have to be a victim to all of these things anymore. Right? So we all got those things. We all got those things where we feel like we're a victim to it. You have something you want to add?
Okay. So now if what I'm kind of hearing is if I have an opinion and you have an opinion, but we meet in the middle, is that what you're kind of saying? I mean, because there's three sides to a story, if you ask me. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. I mean, the truth.
Right.
Is that what you're kind of saying?
I'm saying that our opinions are just our opinions. I
Right.
have to be able to discern that an opinion is not the truth. When I start to recognize that my perception and my opinion is not the truth, then is it even worth me projecting it onto you?
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay,
Because
gotcha.
my goal here is to create a holy relationship, which means I want both of us to see the truth.
Right.
So maybe
Okay.
my projections, maybe my opinions will help you see that my opinion is just an opinion. And I also recognize that my own opinion is an opinion. Now it's even more powerful. It's like, here, I believe this to be real. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And then now you are an invitation for the same type of response.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
If you speak your opinion as the truth, your invitation is for somebody else to speak their opinion as the truth. And then now we're not getting anywhere. We're just trying to figure out whose truth is real. This happens in the relationship. Every time you are getting in a fight with your partner, there is no looking for the truth here. What you're looking for is who's right and who's wrong. The game that we end up starting to play is find the bad guy. Find the bad guy. Let's find the bad guy in the relationship, right? It's like, you want me to move on this day, but I got a Grant Cardone event. I'm right, you're wrong. And she's like, well, you're always going to things and you're always putting things ahead of me. I'm right, you're wrong. And now we're playing this game of find the bad guy. Who's more bad here? We're not even concerned with finding a result or a solution. We're now just looking to see who's right and who's wrong. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. That's it, period. I get to do this, period. We're not looking for a solution. We're just
Okay,
fighting now. We're just fighting and we're looking to find the bad guy.
okay, gotcha.
And then when we realize that we're doing that, now we can say, okay, I'm no longer committed to being right about this. I'm actually willing to let go of my attachments of everything. Oh, Grant here. Is it very rare that Grant is here? No, not really. Grant freaking lives in Miami and has an office in Aventura. He'll probably do a lot more things over there, right? So instead of being there is no scarcity around it. And then when you don't come from scarcity, like, oh man, this is the only one in time in my entire life that I'm going to do this. Right? It'll be the only one time that you will be helping your partner pack on that day. we think, oh, we can move it. You can move it anytime. I don't know. Maybe. Can she? Can she move anytime? Will that shifting of that time change the trajectory of humankind? The future of all humankind can happen from that moment. I don't know. So, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? I would like to get through one section of chapter 10. I'll read and kind of allow everybody to just have downloads happen during that time. So anybody have any other challenges, any thoughts? Feel free. If you got something in here that you're challenged by, feel free to put a comment or a question. Anything like that. Or you guys can just raise your hands. All right. Well, then I will start this section. Again, my invitation always is remove the judgment of words that I will be reading. Okay, because when we try to understand something, oftentimes what happens is it gets in the way of us actually understanding. So what I'm going to do here is I will read a part of chapter 10 is the idol of sickness, and it's one section. Just allow the downloads to happen. Maybe what's going to happen is a person will come into your mind, okay, or a situation will come to your mind. Let yourself reflect on that. Maybe you'll hear the words, maybe you don't. But the download, the words behind the words, is what you should be looking for. The words behind the words. These words that I will be reading are symbols, all representing love and representing God. So you may not agree with these words, but I want you to take all those things and put it on a shelf. Don't worry about it. Go back to it and play with it later. But in this moment, just allow whatever downloads to happen. Be open to it. All right? Cool. Again, I'm not persuading you, okay? I'm not trying to persuade anybody into anything here. I'm just going to read, and I'm going to allow the healing to just happen, and that's it. Okay. Chapter 10, section 4, the end of sickness. All magic is an attempt at reconciling the irreconcilable. All religion is the recognition that the irreconcilable cannot be reconciled. Sickness and perfection are irreconcilable. I can't even say this word really. Irreconcilable. It's a tongue twister. If God created you perfect, you are perfect. If you believe you can be sick, you have placed other gods before him. If you believe God is not at war with the God of sickness that you made, but you are. He is the symbol of deciding against God. And you are afraid of him because he cannot be reconciled with God's will. If you attack him, you will make him real to you. But if you refuse to worship him in whatever form he may appear to you, and whenever you think you see him, he will disappear into nothingness out of which he was made. So we're talking about the God of sickness, which is the body and all sorts of sickness, illness, attack, all of those. When you attack it, if you judge it, so this is kind of we talking about, like, even in conversation, if we attack somebody, if we attack something, all we're doing is making it more real. And when it becomes more real, it spreads in the world and it becomes bigger. Okay. But when you stop worshiping it, stop making it so real, it disappears into the nothingness of where it came from because we made it up. Reality can dawn only in an unclouded mind. It is always there to be accepted, but its acceptance depends on your willingness to have it. To know reality must involve the willingness to judge unreality for what it is. To overlook nothingness is merely to judge it correctly, and because your ability to evaluate it truly, it will be let go. Knowledge cannot dawn on a mind full of illusions because truth and illusions are irreconcilable. Truth is whole and cannot be known as to be part of a mind. The sonship can be perceived as partly sick because to perceive it that way is not to perceive the sonship at all. If the sonship is one, it is one in all respects. Oneness cannot be divided. If you perceive other gods in your mind is split, and you will not be able to limit the split because it is a sign that you have to remove part of your mind from God's will. This means that it is out of control. To be out of control is to be out of reason, and then the mind becomes unreasonable. By defining the mind wrongly, you perceive it as functioning wrongly. God's law will always keep your mind at peace because peace is his will, and his laws are established to uphold it. His are the laws of your freedom, but yours are the laws of bondage. Since freedom and bondage are irreconcilable, their laws cannot be understood together. The laws of God work only for your good, and there are no other laws besides his. Everything else is merely lawless and therefore chaotic. Yet God himself has protected everything he created by his laws. Everything that is not under them does not exist. Laws of chaos is a meaningless term. Creation is perfectly lawful, and the chaotic is without meaning because it is without God. You have given your peace to the lowercase gods that you made, but they are not there to take it from you, and you cannot give it to them. So we have the creation. When we're in creation mode, we are in alignment. So I'm reading from A Course in Miracles. This has been a book that has guided me in a lot of my journey, and people have wondered how I have been able to remain so peaceful. It's because I practice and I study the Course every single day. Okay. Okay. Nothing but the laws of God has ever been. Oh, wait, no, sorry, I just missed the whole part. You are not free to give up freedom. This is a good line. You are not free to give up freedom, but only to deny it. You cannot do what God did not intend, because he did not intend. What he does not intend does not happen. Your gods do nothing but bring chaos. You're endowing them with chaos and accepting it of them. So every time we lose our peace, every time we're fighting, every time we're arguing, because we have made God of something. Think about how many families are torn apart because of money. We have made God of money. God of chaos is in your design of God of money. Money itself is a free-flowing energy. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to me. It does not belong to anybody. But there is an infinite and unlimited amount of that energy. And when I say money, I also say all sorts of other energy, love and acceptance and gratitude. There is an infinite amount of it. Your cup is constantly being filled with that. Your cup can actually never even be unfilled. It's always full. It's always whole. There's a perception that our cup can be empty, though. That's when we start to give our power away. The God of money, the God of nice things, God of a house, God of a loving relationship, God of all sorts of stuff. Everything that robs us of our peace is we make God of something. So the goal here is to recognize what those things are based on the reactions that we get from using it, based on how we feel. Am I at peace? Or am I in chaos? You cannot give up freedom. Your cup is always full, but you may recognize it. You may deny it as full, but it's still always full. So true awakening, true spirituality is to recognize that I am already full. I am already whole. And that I can be abundantly expanding in all directions of light and love, and it will never take away from the fullness of the cup that I already have inside. Recognizing that your entire world is full and is whole. And that's the spirituality that we talk about, is to be in exploration of your own wholeness. And all the things that happened in your life are just showing you where you have placed God in something else. Okay, the whole reason for the dream world is to show you that the dream world is an illusion. The whole reason for time is to show you that time is an illusion and that eternity is the only thing that is real. So all the things that we have that we make meaningful and valuable, the only reason for them being in your life is to show you that you are whole without it. Hence why we lose everything that we believe is valuable for us, only to recognize that they didn't have that type of value, that I am whole without it. Now, the ego is not liking what I'm saying right now. So this is why we go back to the only thing ever lacking is what I'm unwilling to give away. What I'm unwilling to give is the only ever reason why lack would exist for me. Because I'm making it too valuable for myself. If I
Please
don't
elaborate.
What was that?
Please elaborate on that. I just want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Yeah. So this is very this is complex.
Really good.
This is complex for our ego to understand. The only thing ever lacking is what we are unwilling to give away or what we have not given away. I create value. Okay. Let me see. Okay, this cross that I'm wearing. Big value. Oh my God, it's such a big part of me. If I lose it, I'm gonna lose my peace. I'm gonna lose my shit. See, I feel there's a sense of lack without it. See, the only reason why there would be lack is because I have not given it away.
Oh my goodness.
And this is why we talked about every time I talked about, hey, remember 2 years ago before I got my Tesla, I always talked about getting a Tesla and having someone scratch it and lose my peace. But
yes.
you know what? I got to practice giving that away, giving the God of that Tesla away on this call. And as soon as I got my Tesla, somebody backs up and smashes into it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Not even one moment did I lose my peace during that whole altercation, that whole thing. So the other guy actually lost his peace. He was like, dude, don't you have a rear camera? I'm like, yeah, I do. I watched you back into me. I was honking. Do you have a rear camera? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay. I'm not losing my shit over, but he lost his shit. He lost his shit because he was afraid that I was going to lose my shit. But as soon as I was like chilling about everything, I mean, he had some 1980 pickup truck that hit my Tesla. His car had no damage because they're built like, built like tanks.
Okay.
That dent was like a $14,000 damage.
So lack, for me personally, lack has been like a big conversation for me for a long time, as you know, as like a personal friend, right? So, and that's been a lot of my experience. So until recently, so I guess I am seeing a difference now because I've changed my mindset around it, but that quote knocks me off my rocker for a second. What is it? What we see, what we have in lack is what we're not willing to give. Is that how you said it?
So what I'm unwilling to give away. Wait, what was it?
You have to release. You have to release it to give it away.
What I'm unwilling to give away is the only place ever that lack would exist. So something along the lines of that. I said
you don't give it power.
Wrong, differently.
So this is where I'm having a hard time, I guess. I've always known myself to be a very giving person to the point where my family and friends tell me I'm too giving, right? And so, but I still experienced a lot of scarcity and lack. And the only things that I did not give were the things that I actually felt I did not have, But if I had,
out of those,
I gave. Yeah, so I gave of my time, I gave of my effort, and I gave of whatever I did have.
So there is no lack in time for you because you were willing to freely give it away. So what's lacking for you? Money?
Yes.
How much money have you? So do you think that you've given equally amount of money and time, or is it different? Or you give more time than you give money?
That depends on what I have. And in the last couple of years, based on where my life path has taken me, I've had more time to give than money.
Yeah, but see, you also see yourself as having an abundance of time. That's why you're giving it away.
Thank you for this. You really like unlocking a link here for me.
Yeah. You have not given money away. And this is why you believe, because you're holding on to it. You're holding on to it. You're making God of money, but you haven't made God of time. See, that's why you're willing to give it away. If you make God of time, now you won't give time away, and you will find that you have a scarce in time. So the only
Wow.
thing that can ever be scarce is what you're unwilling to give away.
Thank you for this. Oh my gosh. Always on point. I'm done. You can continue back into your regularly scheduled program.
Yeah. So
Steve,
but this-
Steve, it's in the chat.
is it in the chat?
I put it in there.
Okay. Well, please remind me what it is at some point, because I will probably forget it. But it'll
Like what
probably
you
come
s-
in a different form at some point. Right?
Thanks,
Because
Connie.
I've just been saying the same thing for 3 years. The course has been saying the same thing through, 200 pages that we've been on. And it's really all just the same.
Yeah, Connie put it in the chat. The only thing ever lacking is what I'm not willing to give away or what I have not given away.
Wow.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Golden
Brilliant.
nugget.
That's awesome. Good job, guys. Now I don't even know where I am in the course. Hold on. Nothing but the laws of God has ever been, and nothing but his will ever be. You were created through his laws, and by his will and the manner of your creation established you, your creation established you a creator. See, you are an extension of God. There is no separation in that. What you have made is so unworthy of you that you could hardly want it, if you are willing to see it as it is. You will see nothing at all. If you are willing to see what you've made God of, you will realize that it's really nothing. And your vision will automatically look beyond it to what is in you and what is all around you. Reality cannot break through the obstructions of you interpose, but it will envelop you completely when you let them go. When you let go of the God of everything that you have, you will see the abundance and the reality of heaven. So that's how you bring heaven into this world, is to actually, one, believe that it is real, and two, believe that you are worthy of it. And when you see heaven, when you look beyond all the gods you have made, you will see reality, and you will let go of all these things. And so we are afraid to let go because we believe there's a sacrifice. If I let go of this idea of money, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to be homeless, this and that. But we have always been taken care of. Something always shows up to show us that our scarcity was never real. And we still don't believe it. When you have experienced the protection of God, the making of idols becomes inconceivable. There is no strange images in the mind of God, and what is not in his mind cannot be in yours, because you are of one mind, and that mind belongs to him. It is yours. It is yours because it belongs to him. For to him, ownership is sharing. Ooh, this line right here. It's the opposite of what we all believe. Ownership is sharing. Ownership is sharing. I want you guys to you can reflect on this word for the rest of this phrase for the rest of your life. And that's it. Ownership is sharing. Ownership is sharing. Ownership is sharing. Wow. Giving is receiving. Ownership is sharing. Okay, let me highlight this somewhere. I don't have a pen. Okay, later.
Put it in the chat.
I got a pen.
Hey, Alex.
I finish, I'll receive.
Alex,
Yep.
I'm not clear on ownership is sharing. So ownership of what?
Yeah. So this goes. But you're gonna have to mute.
Yep.
Okay. It's the same thing as what is lacking. Whatever is lacking is what you're unwilling to give away. Ownership is sharing is the same thing. If you want more love, if you want to own love, if you want to experience more love in your life, you got to give love. When you give love, all of a sudden you feel and you experience love, and now you own it. But if you hold on to love for yourself and you're unwilling to give love to others, what ends up happening is your experience is no longer love. You no longer have ownership of this thing that you hold so dear, that you made so valuable. Okay, because I want us to, you want to think everything in terms of love. not in money. Because if we go back to the evidence of cash and money itself, we will find evidence that ownership is not sharing. Ownership of this $100 bill is me holding on to this $100 bill. But then you give this $100 bill away, and all of a sudden there's $100 bills coming back your way. Doesn't make any sense. But that's how love works. And if we actually see, we have to, the only way we can have money work like love is we have to stop making God of money. And then now money will start to flow like how love flows. There is only one law that is happening. God's law is happening. Your own creation of your laws. Why is it that all the wealthy, very wealthy people out there have this, like, have charities, donate to a whole ton of other causes? How are they writing millions, $10 million checks out and just getting it all back and actually building more because they're doing that?
Because they're giving.
Right? It's not like, let me do that when I have $10 million. When I become a big millionaire, then I do it. Just start doing it now. Do it with your time, do it with your money. And then you start to let go of this God of money that you got in your mind. And when you can finally let that go, then lack doesn't exist anymore. Lack exists where what you're unwilling to let go of. What you have not given away, there will be lack. What you give away, you will have ownership of the abundance. You're giving away, so you're acting abundantly, and then all of a sudden you own the abundance. So ownership is sharing. Giving is receiving. Okay, so just ponder on that for a while. And if it's so for him, it is also so for you. His definitions are his laws, for by then he established a universe as what it is. No false gods you attempt to interpose between yourself and your reality affects the truth at all. You can believe whatever you want. Truth is unaffected by it. That's why truth needs no defense. You will find your way into truth when you start to look at your opinions as opinions, your perceptions as perceptions, your false gods as illusions. Then you will start to see the truth. But you have to give it away. You have to let go of it so that it's no longer limiting you and you no longer value it for what it is not. You make an illusion a god. You will value it because you made it up. But when you let that go, all of a sudden truth and reality starts to show up. All of a sudden you realize I had an illusion I need to make a sacrifice, and I sacrificed nothing for everything. And this is why the Course says you can trust, because you are, whatever you think you're giving up in this dream world, it is an illusion. It's an illusion because you have made false God of it. And when you sacrifice an illusion, you're sacrificing nothing. And what you're gaining is the kingdom of peace of mind, the kingdom of heaven within you, in your heart. No false gods you attempt to interpose between yourself and your reality affects truth at all. Peace is yours because God created you, and he created nothing else. The miracle is the act of a son of God who has laid aside all false gods and calls on all his other brothers to do likewise. It is an act of faith because it is the recognition that his brothers can do it. It is a call to the Holy Spirit in his mind and a call to strengthen by joining. Because it is a miracle, because the miracle worker has heard God's voice, he strengthens it in the sick brother by weakening his belief in sickness, which it does not share. The power of one mind can shine into another because all the lamps of God were lit by the same spark. It is everywhere and it is eternal. It may only spark in many. So this is when I started this whole Course conversation this morning, that everyone is searching for God, but most don't know it. In many, only the spark remains. for the gray rays are obscured. Yet God has kept the spark alive so that the rays can never be completely forgotten. If you see the little spark, you will learn of the greater light, for the rays are there, but just unseen. Perceiving the spark will heal, but knowing the light will create. Yet in the returning, the light must be acknowledged first, for the separation was the descent from the magnitude to littleness. But the spark is still as pure as the great light, because it is the remaining call of creation. Put all your faith in it, and God himself will answer you. The spark, every one of us, we cannot hide the spark. It can never, ever be completely forgotten. That means what, even if you see the devil in somebody, the spark is still always there and they can never forget it. Even the people that you think are hurting people has a spark that cannot be forgotten. And you will heal your brother by recognizing the spark, by acknowledging and seeing the spark in others, in the people that you feel are the most hurt and have forgotten it the most. And that person, that brother, that sister will be the great reminder for you of your great ray and your great light in you. Your ability to see the spark that God put in all of us. Yep, that's it. That's that section. And I just lost my train of thought. It was flowing, but it's gone. She gone. So, yeah, thoughts.
I think that was beautiful. That was such a beautiful share as far as, in this day and age that we live in and all the chaos that's around, just to see and recognize just what you shared, just reminding us that looking for just the hint of light within everything allows us to always see and acknowledge the light within. And yeah, that's a great reminder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else? We got a couple more minutes. And we can go through.
Thanks for helping me find my peace this morning, Alex. I knew you would.
Yeah.
I knew you would deliver.
You delivered.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I wanted to say that, listen, like that what you said today solidified what I've already been looking at and studying since I've left to come here to Colombia for this last time that I've been here. And so I was listening to an audiobook called The Way of Mastery that's also supposed to be from Yeshua, and everything you've said today is like a different way of saying exactly what was said that really landed for me, that like I had to sit there with and contemplate. And then so like what you said this morning was like so spot on, because basically in that teaching he basically said the same thing, that everything is, when you know the truth and you are the truth and you walk in the light, like everything, you realize everything is in the way that it is, you give freely and more comes always. And that basically, when you think about the life and times of Jesus, like his whole teaching was to give and you shall receive, or so like everything you said today was so spot on and perfect. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. You're in Colombia now?
Yes, I've been here since the 23rd of September. I'll be back in Florida on December 1st.
Oh, okay. You joining us for that?
I hope so. We'll see. I got to reach out to who. So we'll
Get
see.
to it. Make it happen. I'll be back for that on December.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll find out from him.
Yeah. Great. It's funny because people always ask me, hey, what books are you reading right now? What books are you reading? I'm like, there's only one book I'm reading all the time. I'm just reading the course. Like I'm literally reading nothing else, because look, if God's on your mind, God's going to be everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see the world because you see God in your mind. So when I'm reading other books, when I'm listening to other books, I'm like, man, am I reading the course? Like everything, it doesn't matter what they're talking about. I see it as lessons in the course. I see it as teachings from the course.
Yeah.
Because it's the same spark that writes everything. Everything that is written out there, the same spark writes all of it. All right, so yeah. Cool.
Amazing.
Great. Well, we got a couple more minutes. Let's see. Someone says, need this man to teach me about taxes. I mean, taxes is a vehicle, you know, taxes is a vehicle. It is something that we created here. And yes, do the things, do it. So like the world could be scary. Taxes can be scary. A lot of people are very afraid of taxes. See, we have to shift our mind about it. The only thing lacking is what we're unwilling to give away. What we believe about taxes is causing fear. It is your worst enemy. I don't know. It's one of my best friends, actually. So is it the truth? See, we remember this is another opportunity to look. Taxes is your worst enemy. To many, taxes is the best friend. I've gotten to a point where taxes is my best friend. Taxes is pointing me how to invest my money. Taxes is showing me, hey, if you invest your money this way, you don't have to pay taxes. Oh, thank you, taxes, for telling me what to do. Right? But I have to let go of my belief about taxes in the first place in order to even take on something new. If I reinforce taxes is your enemy, I'm not looking for the truth of what tax really is. I just want more people to believe what I believe in. That's all that's happening. And all I'm doing, see, again, ownership is in sharing. I own this idea, and as I share it, it grows and it gets stronger and it becomes more real for me. Now, oh man, tax is my worst enemy because of this, because of this, because of this. And more people, you're going to gather people that are going to agree with you. And now it just becomes even more real. See, in the sharing of it, it becomes more real.
So basically what you're saying is make everything a lesson and learn from it. Right?
Learn, you want to learn what you're worshiping.
Right. Okay.
So everything, and just be careful when you say it is. Like just notice every time you say it's the truth. Is it the truth? Is it the truth? Like, is it the truth that I'm in the situation I'm in, and because of all this stuff in my past, I can't get out of it? Is it the truth? Because if Elon Musk came into your position with his mindset, will he still be in the same position? No, he won't. Right? So your position is not the truth. All of your stories is not the truth. It is a perspective of how you lived your life. And they are excuses for why you don't have what you want. And so we got to let not bad and wrong. Don't judge any of it. If you're doing it, it's okay. Don't judge it. I'm not judging you for it. I do it all the time, probably still.
Well, no, I'm just learning. This was something that I just came across about a year ago. How to give up the illusion.
Yeah. We just practice, you know. That's why these calls are in place for us to do that. It's a reminder. If I don't do these calls, I probably wouldn't really have the discipline to be studying the course all the time. I don't know, actually. Maybe not. You know, but these calls, I'm sharing it so that you guys keep me accountable. I feel pulled to do this work. I don't need to push. You know, I talk about this all the time. Why I do live things, why do I do social media, why do I do Zoom calls, these types of things? Because you guys are pulling me to greatness. It's less about me having to force myself and push myself to get out of bed. Do I do this at this time? No, there are people that are going to be on the call, and there is no question. I don't even question myself if I got to get up. Like that doesn't even happen to do this call. Right? Yeah, but it's a training, it's a practice too. Because on my Monday night calls, that's still new-ish for me. This I've been doing for many years. My Monday night call, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of people on there. And all the limiting beliefs still come flowing through me all the time. you know, but the course grounds me back. Like what you believe right now is not the truth. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just having a moment. Okay, let's find my spark. Let's find my light. So yeah, this was an awesome call. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you for the amazing inspiration and the depthful thoughts that I get to be with and reflect upon for the rest of the day.
All right, we're gonna close this lesson 332.
Thank
take
you,
a breath
Alex.
in. Lesson 332. Fear binds the world, forgiveness sets it free. The ego makes illusions, truth undoes its evil dreams by shining them away. Truth never makes attack, it merely is. And by its presence in the mind, recalled from fantasies, awakening to the real. Forgiveness bids this presence to enter in and takes its rightful place within the mind. Without forgiveness is the mind in chains, believing in its own futility. Yet with forgiveness does the light shine through the dream of darkness, offering it hope and giving it the means to realize the freedom that is its inheritance. We would not bind the world again today. Fear holds it prisoner, and yet your love has given us the means to set it free. Father, we would release it now, for as we offer freedom, it is given to us, and we will remain as prisoners, and we will not remain as prisoners while you are holding freedom out to us. Lesson 332, fear binds the world, forgiveness sets it free. Thank you, everybody. I
Beautiful.
hope, amen. Many
Amen.
blessings.
Amen.
Thank you all
so
for
much.
Amen. Excellent.
Have a powerful week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Right.